Watching Smart 24 and we drive your business. My name is Anthony and I'm your host for Financial Markets, here where we talk about the capital and money markets and of course influencers in the space, getting to know the products, getting to know the investors, getting to know opportunities and latest technologies that are coming up in the financial market sector. And of course right now I'm here with some of the top stories, but before we go into our stories, would like to have a little look at the cryptocurrency, how it played out. Remember, now we are looking at the crypto because it has become a thing all over the world since the last weekend, when cryptocurrencies almost crashed with the biggest coin, Bitcoin, going below the 20,000 mark to sell at over 17,000. And of course, millions of people around the world making huge amounts of losses. So this morning, Bitcoin has actually, the prices keep changing, but at least as of data we have right now, this is of course from CoinDesk, which is a licensed publisher of cryptocurrency information. Currently, Bitcoin has a value appreciation of 2.05%, and it's currently trading at $20,951.75 US. The next bigger coin there, Ethereum, is currently at a price appreciation of 5.48%, which is really something to look out for. And it's currently trading at 1,153.23 US. Binance Coin currently has a price appreciation of 3.87%, trading at $231.58 US. The XRP, that is one of the other coins, trading at 0.37 US, has appreciated by 13.76%. And of course, we are seeing an average rise in the general pricings of the smaller coins, like the XRP, the Solana, the Binance USD, the Cardano, the Dogecoin, the Stellar, and many other coins, given that now they have space to actually be able to grow as the other bigger coins suffer. But as we all know, crypto is a very volatile market and things change over seconds. It takes a second for the Bitcoin to shoot up after maybe Elon Musk said something about Tesla and so on, and investors are wooed into one direction. So it is quite something you cannot keep very much track of. But of course, we will be giving you some of these bits of information so you can just be in the know that people actually out there are trading in crypto. But of course, in Uganda, you should be aware that a Bank of Uganda banned transactions from cryptocurrency to the Ugandan currency, and therefore many cryptocurrency transactors were affected. And of course, Bank of Uganda foresaw very many risks concerning the currency, with very many people being hoodwinked, and many people were fleeced of their monies due to fraudsters and scammers who actually came in the name of cryptocurrency, yet they were illegal dealers in money scams. But crypto is not a bad thing, and elsewhere in the world it has been embraced, and quite a number of people are using it as a means of income generation. And that is as much as I could get you on the cryptocurrency, and we will keep you updated. Now, moving on to our stories, Uganda, of course, Ugandans who send money abroad recover from COVID-19 decline. Now, the Ugandans working abroad sent more money home in the period ended 2021 than 2020, according to data from Bank of Uganda. In details contained in the annual supervision report released early this month, Bank of Uganda said the remittance inflows increased from $579 million during the year ended December 2020 to $599.3 million in the year 2021, which is a 3.52% recovery from a decline registered in 2020. Now, during 2020, according to the Migration and Development Brief, remittances to Uganda declined by 2.8%. The Migration and Development Brief indicates that Uganda remains among the top 10 recipients of remittances in sub-Saharan Africa. Dr. Adam Mugume, who is the Bank of Uganda Director for Research, yesterday declared to reporters that North America, Middle East and South Africa are Uganda's largest source of remittances. In 2021, he added, was a year of recovery when compared to 2020. But when compared with 2019 inflows, remittances in 2021 are still lower. He said, noting that 2021 recovery was supported by the gradual reopening of the global economies as the COVID-19 pandemic waned. It was not immediately clear how much is sent from the above-mentioned source regions, however. North America, which includes USA and Canada, has one of the highest concentration of Ugandan professional workers that are supplemented by a mix of casual laborers. However, in the last 10 years, many of the workers that Uganda sends to the Middle East have been concentrated in casual employment. The number of Ugandan migrant workers has been growing, boosted by labor externalization programs with a number of countries, especially in the Middle East, countries such as Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Oman, and the like. According to a report by the Ministry of Gender, it is estimated that at least an average of 24,086 Ugandans leave the country annually in search for employment, especially in the Middle East. However, many of these are employed in casual employment, even as they have been key in boosting remittances inflow in the last 10 years. A United Nations report estimates that there are at least or more than 620,000 Ugandans living and working outside the country, with key regions being East Africa, Africa, Europe, Asia, Americas, and the Middle East, among others. Dr. Fred Muhumuza, who is an economist and a lecturer of economics at Makerere University, said the recovery and increase in remittances is good for the economy because they come at a time when the shilling is facing serious pressures due to an increase in the demand for dollars against low supply. He added that we need dollars, but most importantly, these feed directly into households of the immigrant workers, many of which are very fragile and vulnerable, hence support the local economy at the grassroots. In the last 3 years, remittances have been impacted by a number of factors, among which include the slowdown in the global economy, the COVID-19 pandemic, and a surge in the commodity prices. Now the outflows, whereas inflows increased, on the other hand, outflows, which represents money to expatriate and foreign workers, according to Bank of Uganda, decreased by 3.85%, falling from 213.8 million during the period ended December 2020 to 205.59 million in the period ended December 2021. That is a story on the remittances coming in from abroad into Uganda. This affects directly our markets here because look at it this way. Whenever you go abroad to work, they pay you in their currency. They pay you, for example, you're working in the United States, they'll give you dollars. And now those dollars are scarce right now. For example, in the entire world is looking for dollars. For Christ's sake, Kenya is grappling for the dollar. And because they have actually lost a lot of value in the shillings, in the Kenyan shillings against the dollar. But this definitely can be regulated by an influx of dollars into the country. And the best way to do this is to have workers who are working in those countries bring back that money in here. Or, for example, tourists who come in with the dollars and they exchange for the currency here, they give us an opportunity to gain more strength in terms of currency. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing if you have someone who is working abroad. Probably they should send you some money to get in dollars, and this will help our currency as well. And definitely we will not struggle as much. But also another way to increase the strength of the currency is to increase the exports, because as you export and import less, you have people buying your goods with their currency, usually which is the dollar, which is what most people use trading internationally. So this gives more your currency strength against the dollar, because there the dollar is not as on demand as as it should be. So it's a good thing, and I think these reports give us a good picture of what a country's economy can look like in terms of exchange, in terms of forex, and how important it is for our Ugandan people to trade abroad and also to go and work abroad. But as well, the influx of Ugandans working in the Middle East has had a big impact on the economy, because they go and work and get some money and bring it back here and kind of make investments. However, they go to do casual labor, which is not a very good thing sometimes, because if someone has really gone to school and they have a lot of capacity to do a lot more things, usually sometimes it's a good thing they go and work professionally, because when you're working professionally, you earn professionally, and the pay probably is much better. But as well, it's not a bad thing in case usually sometimes the situation in Uganda can get so bad that people have actually no other option left for them. But of course, as financial markets here, we advocate for more dollars, because more dollars here, better, the stronger our currency, the better our markets, financial markets, not exclusive. Moving on to another story, of course, the Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, has said that they shall announce the pipeline financiers next year. Now, Mr. Peter Mulisa is the Uganda National Oil Company Chief Legal and Corporate Affairs Officer, spoke to journalists on a variety of issues in the oil and gas sector, including on the status and viability of the East African crude oil pipeline. What the fate, when asked what the fate of the East African crude oil pipeline was, considering the current financing, environmental and legal pressures, he said that they have had environmental and climate activists start a hashtag and movement to mobilize people to stop the East African crude oil pipeline. The thrust of their argument is that it is dangerous to the environment, and it is going to displace many people and wildlife, and that is going to cause major emissions, which would worsen climate change. He says that they do a resettlement action plan, which looks at the impact of the projects on the people and comes up with migration measures based on International Finance Corporation standards accepted by the World Bank, by all banks in the world. The land that East African crude oil pipeline needs is a 30-meter corridor. So in most places, you're not taking people's whole land, but just a small piece. After construction, the pipeline is buried all the way. When it is laid and everything is done, the land will be restored. And of course, very few people will need to be, very small amounts of money will need to be used for compensation. It was largely, of course, the delay, he explains, was largely because that they had not taken final investment decisions, but had done everything else and had prepared the project. Affected persons had done the evaluations, and in addition to the normal values, they had added the disturbance allowance, and now they're at the end of the resettlement action plan, and of course, which is a long process. The project has also been accused of damage to the environment, and of course, we know that the environment has to be protected. And so the environmental and social impact assessment has also been done. An oil spill could happen anytime. And this gentleman, Mr. Peter Mulisa, he said that the pipeline is a double-layered steel pipeline, and it has insulations that enable us to monitor what's happening at any point from the control. And of course, they have put in place an oil spill contingency plan, which is a requirement by law and is a best practice. It lays out steps which they could use to ensure that it is quickly efficient action is taken. And of course, they have also done as much as possible to see that there is a net zero emitter project. That basically means you look at the carbon and it is going to emit, that's going to be emitted, and then offset it by creating scenarios that will reduce carbon emissions to the amount that you might need to emit. Now, of course, when asked about the financing of the project, he said that they are confident with financing, and project finance is a standard process. And of course, they're saying they will reach out to financing entities and do market sounding as the project starts. When the project matures, they will now issue an information memorandum to all the financiers. Some will, of course, say that they are not going to participate, and others will tell you they will participate. And those that say they are going to participate, they are given a term sheet, and they return their response to the term sheet. And when of course they get the returns, they are oversubscribed by 20%. By July, they should be able to announce all the financing institutions and entities. And they have entities from Europe, from Asia, and all over the world. That is according to Mr. Peter Mulisa, who is, of course, one of the heads, the directors at the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Project and the chairperson of the Uganda National Oil Company, a company that's responsible for the pipeline that's being constructed from Hoima down to Tanga in Tanzania, where we shall have the refining of the oil and then definitely get proceeds from there. But the financing bit is, of course, something Ugandans have been questioning, with very many people asking whether this will be, of course, will come to pass. But the project has faced a lot of backlash from environmental activists, from people like the French president, Emmanuel Macron, who actually was further questioned by a journalist on why France was one of the people financing such a project that's going to damage the environment. And of course, there were so many other problems, including 5 billion euros that were supposed to be lent to the government, but there were some delays. But according to reports, the financiers will be declared soon. But how I wish the East African Crude Oil Pipeline could probably look into the financial market system and maybe consider, probably government could consider an infrastructure bond, maybe to be issued on behalf of government, and this could help probably in financing such projects domestically, using our own local investors. Because look here, this oil belongs to us, and if oil belongs to us, why should we wait for external funders? I'm pretty sure if we put together money, we could raise quite an amount, and probably when the returns come, the people who have invested will be able to reap from their investment. But of course, that's something government ought to probably think about when it comes to financing the East African crude oil pipeline that's currently facing a lot of criticism by the foreign financiers that we are always looking up to. But remember, in Kenya, in Tanzania, and so on, they have these structured bonds and bills tailored to infrastructure and tailored to certain provisions of social services in the country. And these include bills and bonds that are listed on their security exchanges. And of course, if you would love to have one, you can use the Altex app. The Altex app, or you can use your mobile phone using dialing *292# and you can access a wealth of securities, including equities, including securities like treasury bonds and bills from Kenya, Tanzania, and other countries as well. And definitely they will be getting you to be able to purchase these shares on your own without an intermediate. But as well, you can use the Uganda Security Exchange way, where you need to dial *165# and access the Uganda Security Exchange through financial services. And then definitely the Uganda Securities Exchange will link you to a stockbroker who will be of help, and he will trade on your own behalf and get you the returns in time. SBG Securities is also another broker who is coming up with innovative ways of trying to see that people access the stock market. They are working on an app that will help you access all information on the stocks, all information on securities by your smartphone using that application. As well, you can check them out and get to know what they can do to help you out. We're going into a short break. We return with more stories, but later on, like I promised, we are talking to Mr. Musumba Malik. This gentleman here is a person who has experience in the stock markets, and we are talking the sustainability of the African markets amidst tough economic times that we are living in, times of inflation, times of political conflict, and so on. How can the financial markets be sustainable in Africa? Looking at the African markets like the Nairobi Stock Exchange, the Uganda Stock Exchange, and others. How can we maintain these markets moving despite the fact that the entire world is grappling with the pandemic after effects, grappling with inflation, grappling with all these other problems that we need to solve? Can the financial markets be a place to run to? Of course, I'll be talking to him in very few minutes. But for now, we are going into a short break. We return with more stories, and then later, Mr. Malik Musumba.